Hello and welcome to the latest Progress Wrestling Hype Show. This is for chapter 147, Unboxing Live 5, Deal or No Deal, from the Electric Ballroom, Friday the 30th December. So New Year's Eve, you could say. But joined as always by my co-host, my cohorts, ring announcer extraordinaire, good friend Mike Mad Dog Angus. Mike, it's been a few weeks. Great to be joining up with you again to hype up Unboxing 5 Live. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, really good, John. Is really good. Looking forward to Christmas and the festive period, and looking forward to seeing everybody back at the Ballroom for unboxing. It's going to be crazy. It's one of the most exciting shows of the year for us here at Progress, and I know the fans are excited about it. I've already seen people trying to guess who they think is going to be involved, guess the matches, guess what's going to happen, and I tell you what, it is going to be spectacular. It's one to I'm so excited about, and I know the whole team are, and it is going to be really good fun. And who knows, Mr. Blobby could be there, Noel Edmonds might be there. Not 100% sure about the deal or no deal side of things. I believe there is a banker in the building, but I don't know who it's going to be. We'll have to see what happens.
It's all going to be fun and games, but this is what we're talking about. Unboxing Live 5, the next chapter from Progress Wrestling, chapter 147, Deal or No Deal, from the spiritual home of Progress Wrestling, the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London, and our kind of new start time now of 3 p.m. Not 3:30 like it always used to be, but 3 p.m. I don't know if that will be the way it will continue into 2023. But certainly for this show, Friday the 30th of December, the Electric Ballroom, 3 p.m. kickoff. But Mike, it's going to be fantastic. And of course, it's going to be an interesting hype show because before we've always had matches to hype up. But what can you possibly hype up when you haven't got any matches announced so far? But we will make this an entertaining 30 or 40 minutes. But most importantly, it is going to be the show of the year. Like I say, it's New Year's Eve and Progress Wrestling's last show of 2022. And it's going to be a fantastic show. I'm going to be there. Mike's going to be there. And you could have talent from the States. We've had performers from the US in a Progress Ring in 2022. We could have talent from Germany. WXW has been a fantastic partner with Progress in 2022. We've already had the greatest and the good UK pro wrestling, the best wrestling performance from the UK in 2022. And you'll see that many surprises in Unboxing Live. But the whole gimmick of the show is you don't know who's going to be there. So you have to be there to witness it yourself, Mike. You have to be there. And the only way you can do that is by going to the website today, progresswrestling.com/tickets. And as I always says, it transports you to the Dice FM app where you can get your tickets for Unboxing Live 5 today. You want to be there. But Mike, it's going to be a tremendous show, 3 o'clock kickoff time. And it's going to be a Friday, not a Sunday, a Friday. New Year's Eve, the 30th of December. I'm hyped for it. As you can tell, you must be hyped for it already. Mike, I can tell also. How are you feeling?
Definitely. Can't wait for it, John. As you know, the interesting thing about this show is it's not just the fact that it could be different people from different rosters appearing and things like that. It could be anybody who we've already had wrestling for Progress this year could face anyone else in the locker room, so you could have feuds that you never thought imaginable, and people facing people in different matches that you just never thought could happen before. So, it is exciting. You could have, for example, just like one of the guys out of CPF, like Danny Black, taking on like man like DeReese or anything like that. It could just be anything. There's so many potential combinations of amazing matches that we could have in Progress, and we could see any of those happen on Friday, December 30th, and it's going to be interesting. Plus, you've got the added fact, anybody could appear, Johners. I would say, well, within some restrictions, but
I won't be wrestling. No, I'll be up in the balcony watching in the comfort of my own little.
You say that now, Jonas, but if somebody's in that ring and they're calling you out, you're gonna have to step up, mate.
There we go. But we shall see. But like you say, it's going to be random. It's going to be weird, wonderful, and wacky. And like you say, you could have two members of the same tag team going up against one another. You could have, like I say, different factions being formed on the night like you'd never imagined before, Mike. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And you never know, there might be some championship matches where you could get some contenders that you never imagined would be going up against the champions. So it will be absolutely fantastic. But 3 p.m. December 30th, you have to be there. PROGRESSWrestling.com/tickets. But we are hot off the heels off of chapter 146. They think it's all over from the Electric Ballroom just last month, Mike. And another tremendous show. Not just a tremendous show, it's a tremendous super show, a super card. 12 matches were announced, and we had, I think, 4 hours of wrestling action. It was absolutely fantastic. But I know it's already dropped on demand, on Progress on Demand and the WWE Network. So we encourage you. It is probably one of the best wrestling shows you're likely to see all year. Go and check it out. The biggest and the best names from the UK, from Europe, from the States were in the Progress Ring, the Electric Ballroom, last month for They Think It's All Over. We've got a few pictures just to kind of get people enticed. It couldn't have started any hotter than by having the Sovereign Lord going up against former Progress World Champion Jonathan Gresham. A real hot way to treat the fans in the Electric Ballroom, hot way to kick things off there, Mike.
Yeah, what an amazing match to start things off. It was absolutely brilliant to welcome Gresh back to the Electric Ballroom to have that match opening the show for the Progress Men's World Championship. Amazing stuff. And, it was another great matchup. You need to go and check it out on demand and on the WWE Network. One of my favorite parts of it was when Gresham brought a little letter from a fan in the United States to give to Spike. He was really happy about that. It just said, F you, Spike, on it when he opened it.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious, and good to see he's got a good sense of humor. But I've got to say, the Sovereign Lord, he did show his technical prowess, and he did kind of match Jonathan Gresham with some good mat work there. So definitely worth checking that out. And I briefly flashed up a picture of the Lyrical Dragon there, man like DeReiss, who had a fantastic, fun and entertaining match against the world famous Cheeseburger, of course. Mike, another great match from the Ballroom last month.
Absolutely amazing, yeah, and it was great to welcome Cheeseburger. Just going back to Gresh one moment, he did actually, interestingly, buy the whole front row around the drinks at the Electric Ballroom. After last time when he'd been in the ballroom, he'd been having a bit of a bad spell, and he'd thrown a load of people's drinks away. So this time when he was back at the ballroom, he bought around the drinks for everyone in the front row, which I thought was just amazing. That just shows, what a guy he is, Gresham. And then similarly interesting story as well was going into this match, we just had to check the ring basically just very quickly. There was any time in wrestling something can happen with the ring, so we just had to buy a little tiny bit of extra time just while they were just checking something underneath the ring, making sure everything was nice and safe for the competitors to take part in the match. And while that was happening, man like DeReiss decided to bust out a rap called Buy My Merch, which is now on our Twitter page. You might want to check it out because it was completely impromptu and just showcased the amazing talents that man like DeReiss is as he just freestyled a rap, which included him dissing Cheeseburger and directing people to the merch stand to buy his merch after his match. So amazing, hands down to the guy. He's absolutely class talent.
Absolutely. And what about this crew, Malik and Costa, and their crew, of course, going up against Anthony Ogogo and last minute replacement Driller Dan Maloney, and what an awesome replacement. Like I say, a fantastic match, really hard hitting. Costa, by the way, and I just want to bring up the picture again. Costa getting himself all prepared there with boxing gloves to take on the Olympic bronze medalist there, Anthony Ogogo. But that was one of the highlights of the show, was that match, and watching Costa do everything he possibly could within his power to stay out of the ring and let Malik take as much punishment as possible. But once again, on demand and on the WWE Network, a fantastic match there. But there we go. Driller and Anthony Ogogo were in no mood for fun and games, were they?
They certainly were not. And I tell you, this could be a compliment for Costa, but he reminds me so much of Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think that's a really good thing about him. But then his attitude, it does suck. But what an effort he made in that one. And Malik, tough as always, but it was a great bout. And unfortunately, obviously, but you mentioned Byron not being able to be there. I think due to the World Cup it was in the end. But I'm sure he will still. I think he's going to show up at some point in Progress Wrestling, and we'll get to see what he's all about as well in the future. Interesting bout, and obviously what a replacement to step in. The Driller, Dan Maloney. It's super fight season. Anytime Dan shows up, he is the an absolute machine. The wrestling machine of British wrestling, and he brought the 012 on with him as well. So there was a crew either side of the ring, and this was just such a fun tag match. And it showcased exactly what the show was going to be all about. With it being such a big show, Jonas, as well, I think it ran nearly 4 hours, 40 minutes. I think it was in the end. But we promised so much for it. But I tell you what, the fans did not let us down that day, because there was not a moment where they were not involved in the action, participating, singing along, clapping, chanting. Oh. It was the atmosphere in the ballroom that day was one of my absolute favourites that we've had this year. And just the way the show went and paced itself, it was just amazing that everyone kept involved with all the action. And I was so impressed on that day by what happened in the ring, and as well with the fans for just showing what absolute legends they are as well on that day.
Absolutely. I'm just going to bring up pictures of Bullet there, who made his Progress Wrestling debut. We've seen him many times in the corner of the Sovereign Lord, the Progress World Champion Spike Trevay, of course, going up against Tom Dawkins, the former Cara Noir, and that was an entertaining bout. And then we also got, there we go, you can see how hard hitting that was between Thomas Dawkins and Bullet, of course. And then not forgetting, we also got Chuck Mambo and Kid Lycos in a hair versus mask match. Probably a first time ever gimmick match, hair versus mask match in a Progress ring. But they took it outside. They took it all around the Electric Ballroom. There was so much up for grabs in that match. But I'd say just another example, and just to echo what you said a moment ago, Mike, I've been to just about every Progress show in the Ballroom in 2022, and they were loud throughout from beginning to end. And yes, it was a super show, and they did have 12 matches or 11 matches and 4.5 hours long, but they were loud throughout the whole show. So all credit to the Progress faithful in the Electric Ballroom that day, but it added to the atmosphere, and I think it added to the performances that we saw in the ring as well. But I'd say another couple of matches that I've skimmed over there. Mike, any particular memories from those two?
Well, Bullet, he's an absolute standout competitor, and what a match he had. That's one you've got to watch just to check that guy out. Tom Dawkins, always, absolutely brilliant wrestler, but I think it seems like Spike is coming to the end of his interest. He's paying in Tom, so that's a good thing, I hope. And then we'll have to see where Tom goes from here. And of course, Kid Lycos continues to elevate himself. Just absolutely brilliant. His match against Chris Brooks a couple of weeks ago, that was one of the match of the year contenders. And this one with Chuck as well, absolutely amazing. And obviously, one guy was going to lose a mask or hair. I'm not sure if anyone will have seen the results, but I've certainly worked with Chuck since, and he seems a little bit lighter on top. But
But check it out. You've got to check it out on demand, on Progress on Demand, or the WWE Network. I watched it back the other day, and it lived up to every moment of actually being inside the ballroom. It really, really is fantastic. And then, of course, we had the spectacular one, Charles Crowley, and that year and a half storyline that culminated in the ballroom at They Think It's All Over against longtime friends, now bitter rival Elijah, and what a fantastic encounter. We got a great match, a great story was told, and a standing ovation. Mike, I think one of the moments of the night was, I think that entire match was just a moment in itself, and one that will be very, very special and looked back on very fondly for many years to come.
My concern was the metamorphosis of Crowley, and what I've seen since on Twitter, where he said he showed up a broken man, battling against this formula, and now he's obviously seems to have broken the formula here.
Yeah.
And taking nothing away from Elijah, brilliant match from him. He looked in absolutely peak shape at this one. But I'm concerned about Crowley because the fact that he's referring to himself as a god on Twitter, I can only dread what will come next from him.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting, and you have to either tune into On Demand or get a ticket to see what happens next. We could very well see Crowley again in the Ballroom, December the 30th. PROGRESSWrestling.com/tickets is where you need to head now. The link will be in the description to this show. Get your tickets, and don't be that guy that misses out. And you'll see, I'm sure, a fair chunk of the people we've already mentioned in weird and wonderful matches for Unboxing Live 5 Deal or No Deal. How about these next couple of matches? We had Alexis Falcon and Laura Di Matteo in a fantastic match in the Ballroom at They Think It's All Over. And then, of course, we had the final of the NPS tournament for 2022. RKJ, Ricky Knight Jr. against Tate Mayfair's two excellent matches. The crowd were red hot for both of them. And the final of the NPS did not disappoint. It was a fantastic tournament this year, Mike. And the final, I've got to say, was probably the best match of the whole tournament.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And all four of the competitors you just mentioned have been so impressive this year. Yeah. And there was an interesting message, obviously, from Nina Samuels at the end of the Alexis LDM match, which was very interesting to see. And I'm sure there'll be more repercussions from that, especially with the sort of aspects of it that Nina raised in that. But and the NPS, what a tournament. It's been amazing. It's stretched right across the country and culminated in this one. And what a match. You've got to watch it. And, I think I mentioned on Twitter myself this week, if them two had to go toe-to-toe again, I'd happily watch them fight each other over and over again because they're, Tate Mayfair's absolutely top-class, top-level performer. Tateness is greatness, and he's proven it every time he goes out there. But RKJ, he is the future of the Knife family, obviously, and they have, they've raised an absolute champ there, and he's a brilliant wrestler. He's in brilliant condition, technical wrestling abilities off the charts, but he's hard hitting. He is, he's got the skills, and that is a guy who's going to be someone to look forward to seeing right through the next few years. I know he's picked up a bit of an injury recently, so we wish him all the best as well for his recovery. And we're looking forward, hopefully, to seeing him back January 22nd with us, I believe. So looking forward to him making that, hopefully.
Indeed. And like I say, you had the top talent in the NPS this year from across the UK and Europe, of course. But I don't think you could have got two better finalists, and they really delivered on the day. But how about these couple of matches then? Big Damo and Axel Tischer going up against... It was meant to have been Chris Ridgway and Luke Jacobs, of course. But it was a hard-hitting encounter with Luke Jacobs teaming up with Leon Slater. We saw him earlier on in the night alongside 0121 stablemate Dan Maloney, and here he was going up against Big Damo and Axel in another stellar match. And I'd say another show stealer. There were so many show-stealing performances at They Think It's All Over that... Like I say, I'm going to put it down as one of the cards of the year, one of the shows of the year, because of how stacked and how exciting it was. And then, of course, we had the main event, superstar Lana Austin with the Lana Austin Experience there, LA Taylor, Sky Smithson, of course, going up against the fighting champion, Kanji. And what a tremendous main event, full of action, full of drama. But, Mike, those two matches had me on the edge of my seat or even standing up, certainly for that main event. But what a culmination to a fantastic show in November. They Think It's All Over.
Absolutely brilliant, yeah. And of course, the tag team match was almost an unboxing, like a prelude to unboxing, with the... Unfortunately, Chris Ridgway couldn't make it to this one due to an injury, I believe. And then Leon Slater stepped in, and that was, a sanity reunion taking on Luke Jacobs and Leon Slater. What a young tag team that is. And they proved they could work as a team as well. And excitement levels in that one were so high. It was a wild match, and it was almost like what you're going to be seeing at unboxing. We'll have to, anyone could be tagged with anyone there, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Absolutely.
And the main event, amazing. Lana Austin has been a absolutely amazing wrestler on the scene since I started, and even before. She's a trainer. She trains a lot of the ladies coming up for the UK scene, and of course, in Progress, she's got the LA Taylor and Sky Smith, who in the Lana Austin Experience, who were about on this evening, causing a bit of trouble for Kanji. And if you haven't seen this one, it's one definitely worth watching. Kanji, the fighting champion, but could she hold off the Lana Austin Experience? The Lana Austin herself, who what an appearance that was. It was absolutely amazing, and you've got to go back and watch that one and see what happens there. So brilliant
Absolutely.
stuff.
You won't be disappointed if you check that one out. Like I said, show of the year. There were so many show-stealing matches within that one show. I'm going to say it, show of the year. Absolutely fantastic. Over 4.5 hours of action. The crowd were red hot from beginning to end. 11 amazing matches there, Mike. And I'm going to say it, certainly my favourite show of 2022, undoubtedly.
You haven't been to unboxing yet, Jonas. You've got this one still to come. Anything can happen at unboxing. That's the thing. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be crazy, and it could be anybody. It could be anything. There could be, I'll just have to see. What have we got in the office? Christmas trees. Plenty of Christmas trees. I might bring them down with me.
But I have been told that there are some spectacular surprises in store for Unboxing Live 5 on December 30th. And some names and some pairings and some matchups that have been arranged that you would never expect in a million years. And they are going to happen. And you have to be there. PROGRESSWrestling.com/tickets. And you will get some surprises. Your jaw will hit the floor, and you will fall off your seat in surprise at what a tremendous card is going to be in front of you. And like I say, there will be shocks, there will be surprises. It will be full and very random, but it could very well top. They think it's all over for show of the year on New Year's Eve, December the 30th, 3 p.m. from the Electric Ball. And just some examples of matches that we've had in the previous 4 editions of unboxing. I remember it started in 2016, and the last time we had an unboxing live was back in 2019. That would be 3 years ago. But look at some of these matches that you wouldn't have known about unless you were there and saw them yourself. None of these matches were announced in advance, but you would have got Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray, and of course Progress was the launching pad for Toni Storm, and look what she's gone on to do. Look what KLR has gone on to do in their careers. The following year, 2017, Unboxing Live number 2, December the 30th, 2017.
All the tag teams facing each other in that one.
Tag teams facing each other, exactly.
Tag team turmoil.
Unbelievable.
An inflatable kid like us in there,
You got Aussie Open on separate teams. You got Moustache Mountain on separate teams. You got the Grizzled Young Veterans on separate teams, and you got Lykos and Chris Brooks on separate teams. And that is just the example of how random, weird, and wonderful Unboxing Live is going to be. And how about this one? Another match featuring Chris Brooks the following year, 2018, for Unboxing Live 3. Chris Brooks versus Drew Parker. A no disqualification match. And I know that some of these matches have been available to watch on Progress's YouTube channel, haven't they, Mike, for 24 hours?
Yes, so for 24 hours they've been available. And there's a couple more still to come as well that are going to be up this week. So I believe Thursday going into Friday, I believe that from December 30th, 2018, Unboxing 3, Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate is going to be up on the YouTube for 24 hours to watch. So that's going to be a cracker to go back and check that one out. And also next week, beginning of next week, I believe it's going to be around Monday or Tuesday next week. From Unboxing 4 from 2019 is going to be Ilya Dragunov versus Kyle Fletcher as well. So make sure to check those out when they're on there. But as you can see, Jonas, there's all sorts of different variations of matches you can have and people you wouldn't expect to be facing each other. So
what about this one, Mike, from 2018 again? Jenny defended the Progress Women's World Championship against Jordan Grace, and I think that you never know what's going to happen, but the title changed hands on that very show during that very match. So it's so unpredictable. You don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know who's going to face each other. You don't know what titles are going to be on the line. And you don't know who might walk out with a championship come the end of it. And that's why you need to be there. December the 30th for Unboxing Live 5, Deal or No Deal. December the 30th from the Electric Ballroom, 3 p.m. start, PROGRESSWrestling.com/tickets. The link is in the description to this show. But as we've seen from some of them examples, some that you've just spoken about as well, some that will be appearing for 24 hours on the YouTube channel very, very soon, before the 30th of December. It is going to be random. It is going to be weird, wonderful, unpredictable. And you have to be there, don't you, Mike?
I think at the show, I believe, I just put the music on shuffle, and whatever plays, that's it. That's who comes out, I've been told. So see how it goes.
It could be as random as that, folks. It could be as random as that. But don't forget, PROGRESSWrestling.com/tickets. It will take you straight through to the Dice FM app. You better get your tickets for that show and all up-and-coming Progress shows. And we do have a couple that have been announced. And, of course, the whole calendar for their London shows, for their Camden shows, have been out on the socials for a little while now, but we've got a bit more information, haven't we? Because the first show in the Electric Ballroom in 2023, January the 22nd, chapter 148, Start Spreading the News. And that's going to be the first Camden Electric Ballroom Camden show of 2023. And it's going to feature the return of the Thunder Bastard match, Mike. And like I say, Thunder Bastard has been a feature of Progress Wrestling for many years now, and we're going to see its return, the first show of the year in 2023.
Looking forward to it, mate. Thunder Bastard, always a great match concept, and it really does separate the wheat from the chaff, where you see the strongest survive in that one, and in that one, the cream really does rise to the top.
Absolutely. And a couple of matches that have already been announced for that show. Now, we haven't been able to announce any matches for Deal or No Deal, the unboxing show, but Start Spreading the News. You are going to see one match featuring Ricky Knight Jr., RKJ, against Axel Tisha. And we know that RKJ is one of the hardest hitting individuals in UK wrestling, in European wrestling, and further afield. And what that guy can't do in a ring is not worth mentioning. Going up against Axel Tisha, who is also another hard-hitting individual. He's got a few years on RKJ, and he's got that experience, and he's got that kind of ring prowess. But that is going to be a hard-hitting, action-packed match between RKJ and Axel in the Ballroom, January the 22nd, Mike. That's
it, absolute dream match, that one. Axel's enjoying the time of his life, and RKJ, I know he's picked up a little bit of a knock. We're hoping he'll be fit again, ready for that one. But we'll hear what he has to say and let things know. Cards is subject to change, but if he can make it, he'll be there, and he won't let anyone down, as always.
Absolutely. And a second match that's been announced for Start Spreading the News, Leon Slater, the youngest in charge, going up against finalist in this year's NPS, Tate Mayfair's. Another fantastic encounter between two of the best young up-and-coming wrestlers on the UK scene in 2022 going into 2023, Mike.
Both amazing in the NPS, showcase the talents. And I think, Leon, he wanted to be in that final, so he's going to be he's still going to be looking for a bit of revenge from that one. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. And both guys absolutely brilliant talents. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that one. And hopefully Tate will be behaving himself, because he's had them knuckles with him a couple of times recently. So we're hoping he can stick within the boundary of the rules and actually fight fair for once, and we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun show. And like I say, you can get your tickets for Start Spreading the News. Go to progresswrestling.com/tickets. And another show that you can get your tickets for today by going to the same website, Establish Your Love. And this is going to be the first show in Manchester for 2023, the O2 Ritz. Progress have been there many, many times before. February the 12th, Sunday the 12th of February, 3 p.m. kickoff. And already announced for that show is Ali Catch. She'll be there. She'll be competing in the Progress Ring once again, but up in Manchester, the O2 Ritz. So if you're in that neck of the woods, you want to get your tickets today for that show. Establish Your Love, Chapter 149 with Ali Catch in the house, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Only a week ago, Effie was over for the tag team partner from Bussy. So looked after Effie over in Liverpool, and then Ali Catch is over in Manchester. February 12th, going to be amazing. Looking forward to that. And, it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. So can't wait. Some exciting shows already announced, tickets available. And what better gift could you get for Christmas than getting wrestling tickets for your loved ones? Bring the family, bring all your friends, get the gang together, have a few beers or whatever, and get yourself down to the wrestling. It's going to be brilliant. And obviously, unboxing itself is a different story. That's just straight after Christmas. So if you've been stuck in the house for a couple of days with the in-laws or whatever, this is the ideal opportunity to get out, let your hair down a bit before New Year's, and enjoy the wrestling. One thing we do know, John, is about unboxing is that Crowley has laid out a challenge. At the end of the last show, when he's having his God complex moment, he's put out a challenge to somebody who's wronged him in the past, and he's called out Maggot from WXW. So we'll have to see if Maggot will be answering that challenge and unboxing. If that goes ahead, that would be a hell of a match. And we've seen it in the past where Maggot managed to beat Crowley and actually sort of stripped him of his identity in a way. So it'll be interesting to see if Maggot answers and responds to Charles Crowley there, and whether that goes ahead at unboxing or a future date, we'll have to see. But Crowley's laid out that challenge to the WXW man, so we'll have to see. Could be interesting.
But one final time from me, Deal or No Deal, Unboxing Live 5. Chapter 147 from the spiritual home of Progress Wrestling, the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London, December the 30th. Now it's a Friday, so a lot of people, like I say, want to work off a little bit of that turkey, get down to the Electric Ballroom and watch a fantastic show from Progress Wrestling, a 3 p.m. kickoff, 3 p.m. start time. And who knows what might happen that day, Mike, but it's going to be a tremendous show. And just go to progresswrestling.com/tickets to get your tickets today. And like I say, you might want to go and get a few tickets and treat your family to a day at Progress Wrestling, or a good friend that's not been to Progress before. Treat them. It could be a literal unboxing for them at their first wrestling show. You never know. But it is going to be fantastic. The greatest wrestling talent from around the UK, Europe, and possibly further afield. Who knows? But you won't be disappointed. I can't wait for the show, and I can't wait to see you again, Mike, in the ballroom in a couple of Fridays' time.
Yep, I love surprises at wrestling, and this is one event where anything could happen. Anyone could show up, and I'm just excited to see what happens. And I know the audience, if they're as good as they were at the last show, they're going to have a great time anyway. But with them surprises and everything, it could be even louder at the ballroom than the last show. So we'll have to see. Looking forward to it, and want to wish everybody, all our fans who've supported us this year, and everybody involved, a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Obviously, we'll see you before New Year on the 30th, Friday the 30th of December. Looking forward to it for unboxing. And Jonas, we'll see you there.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Mike. See you in a few short days, Friday the 30th. But Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for supporting Progress Wrestling. Thanks for supporting and watching these hype shows. This is our 16th, Mike, that we've done this year. So many more to come. But Merry Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you in the ballroom Friday the 30th.